not showing tonight. We do that one tomorrow. Are we live now? Okay, today I'm gonna call this meeting to order. It's January 10th, 2023 at 6:45. Has everyone signed a signing sheet? This is for our public hearing. Everybody, all right? Number 3 is the citizens input regarding the rezone. So is there any citizens here that have 3 minutes apiece before we get into the actual meat of the matter, which is the public hearing on 300 Rabbit Cove Road? Anybody? Nobody? Moving on. Number 4, consider a rezone for 300 West Rabbit Cove. To consider a rezone on 300 West Rabbit Cove Road, legal description is A0579 Elizabeth Kirkendall, tract C3. Property is at 4.003 acres. The property ID number is 208973. Is currently zoned manufactured housing, HUD or HUD code, Park District mobile home. Owner Mukunda Thapa is requesting the property be rezoned for tiny houses. I can wait on you guys can talk real soon. Moving on to the executive session is what is 6:48? Is it time? Close enough.
Next item is adjourn the public hearing.
We need to adjourn the public hearing first.
We can do
Wait till 7 for the regular session.
We can do that. Right there.
Do what?
We can go into executive session. It's only to talk about something on the agenda, right?
Once we get into the regular session.
Oh, yeah,
it's not
yeah,
Till 7 o'clock.
Yeah.
Just adjourn your.
So is there anything about this meeting
We can have our public hearing.
What'd you do, muted? Oh. Are you gonna go tomorrow?
Oh, wait, you're gonna adjourn your number 5?
Yeah, adjourn the public hearing.
Does she want to say something about this, Tanya?
I don't know, that's gonna be next, when we go back in the regular session, then that's when the, citizens input takes place. Okay, it is Tuesday, January 10th, 2023 at 7 o'clock. We're going to call this regular session to order. If everyone would please stand for the invocation and remain standing for the pledge of allegiance.
Heavenly Father, we come to you tonight to ask for your guidance, wisdom, and support as we begin this new year. Help us to engage in meaningful discussion that will allow us to work together to make good decisions for our city and that will glorify your holy name. May our work and actions make a positive impact on the lives of our citizens and our city. Father, let us be mindful of our purpose as leaders and to listen carefully and thoughtfully to the concerns of others. And we pray that you will watch over our city and our citizens as we go about our daily lives. Bless us with your grace, your mercy, and your peace. We ask all of these things in your Son, Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, any announcements? You have any announcements? Make sure to make no notes. No, we got the IRS thing before we get into that. I think it's the last thing on the agenda. Any citizens input related to agenda items? Anyone?
Does that include something on the old business or just new business?
I don't think that it.
All of
them.
It's
Either
on
one.
the agenda.
Okay, so I have a question about the, under 7B. I know this is something that's already been discussed, but I obviously wasn't here for it. Does that include residential or is that just, commercial?
I forgot what was it, 7D, what were you saying?
It has to do.
Oh, 7B.
7B.
Yeah.
Is that commercial or residential or both? Or-
Yeah, that's about
So does that include like, houses that have been abandoned or houses that have been burned down?
It would.
So what was the discussion? I mean, I can't tell from this what exactly comes about from that.
This is going to be on an agenda item that's called, and you'll be able to discuss it then. This is during the public speak section, so the council really can't address it at this point.
Oh, okay.
But when it's called as a regular agenda item, I think if you listen, you'll understand that what the ordinance that we've drafted is intended to address.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, we haven't done that other one yet. Anybody else citizens input? Moving on to number 6, consent agenda, which is approval of minutes for December 29th of 2022. Approval of bills to be paid and those to be paid for December. Approval of financial reports for the month of December, I'm sorry. Court report is from December of 2022. Police report, public works, work order and report, public work reports for the month of December, permit report for the December, code enforcement for the month of December, EDC we have 9, Keep Talking is Beautiful we have 9, and planning and zoning we have 9. Chair will entertain a motion on these consent agenda items.
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda items A through L.
I second that motion.
Yeah, all in favor?
Kevin Featherston.
Leon Myers.
Pam Reed, Robin Myers.
Chris Burkett.
Motion passed. Leading on to number 7A, discussion and or action to approve the second reading of ordinance number 299-12-13-2022, amending ordinance 279-4-23-2019 dumpster fee for 8-yard dumpsters and providing an effective date. Anybody? Shall we entertain a motion?
I make a motion, we accept the second reading of the ordinance 2794-23, 2019.
I second that.
Chris first, Kevin second, all in favor?
Kevin Featherston.
Leon, aye.
Anne Marie,
Robin, Meyer.
Chris Burkett.
Okay, motion passed unanimously. Moving on to item B, discussion and or action to approve the second reading on ordinance 300-12-13-2022 relating to the repair or demolition of substandard, uninhabitable, or otherwise dangerous buildings or structures, providing for findings of facts, which is definitions, include nuisance declaration, inspection, notice of repair, demolition, appeal, demolition and repair expenses, assessment of lien, criminal and civil penalties with maximum severe penalty up to $2,000 per violation, liability, repealer, and severability, effective date and proper notice of the meeting. Any discussion on that?
Clarification on that inspection. There'd be somebody familiar with the ordinances and codes.
We are a code officer who does the inspections.
Them and or BV possibly.
And or Bureau Veritas also, our engineers, but it'll either be our code enforcement officer or Bureau Veritas doing those inspections.
Did that answer your questions?
No.
She might also get fire marshals involved. I mean, there's,
It could be.
the list could go on.
Yeah, it could be all.
I mean, you could have fire marshals involved. The list. could-
Yeah, as it stands right now, that's exactly what I'm talking about. I may be mistaken, but are you certified in HVAC? You would have an electrical engineer.
No,
We have runners that do.
anything like that would go through
That's my question.
anything like that would go through Bureau Veritas, which the city has a contract with, that they do all of our inspections for all trades, licensed trades that are in the state of Texas. And they have licensed people that do inspect per codes for all plumbing, electrical, HVAC, concrete, engineering, all that stuff.
Okay, so thank you for
Yes,
that
ma'am.
There actually,
clarification.
there's no HVAC anywhere in the state of Texas when you come to demolishing a property. There's
Well,
there's
right, but-
no permit, no certification needed to remove an old unit.
No, but I think what her question was like, is if we do an inspection and say electrical, plumbing, HVAC is part of what has failed or that is causing this to be a nuisance or a dangerous property. That was what her,
That's causing it to
Yes,
be
ma'am.
supposed inhabitable,
yes, ma'am.
that it's just not anybody, that it's somebody that actually is trained and has a certification and a license.
Absolutely,
Always, yes.
absolutely, yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Okay.
Mayor, do you want to address the young lady in the corner a little bit more? I think she's still not
Yeah,
quite
we
understanding.
she understands.
Wait, I want to make sure we clarify that, ma'am.
Well, maybe it doesn't have anything to do with what this is about, because I was just thinking about some houses in my neighborhood that have either burned to the ground or there hasn't been anybody living in it in 10 years. I didn't know if that was included in this or if that's something.
This is exactly why we're
Yeah.
adopting this ordinance. So we have a structure in place to address those issues when they come up.
Okay.
So we have a method in place that meets the current, what the Supreme Court said, the Supreme Court of Texas says we need to do before we are authorized to go take down properties, set up a structure that where we do inspections, we give opportunities for owners to correct the problem. If they fail to do that, it comes to council. Council looks at it, we have to put on evidence. After we put on evidence, council decides whether or not the property is going to be repaired, whether it's going to be demolished, and they enter appropriate orders that they can then be appealed to the district court if they need to be. But this creates the structure to address those problems.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, it's something we've been needing for a while, so we finally got our hands on it. Moving on to number 8.
We got-
Go ahead.
One question.
Oh, we do have on that one.
We have no other questions.
Sorry.
Still got a question.
Yes,
I was understanding everything up to the liability, repealer, and severability. What do those words mean? in
Well, I
this?
mean, there are provisions to create, that define what civil liability, what potential criminal liability is associated with violations. We have the right to either initiate tickets for the property back, basically for substandard buildings, or we can initiate what the procedure that we start through, where we ultimately, our goal is to take the property down. There are some properties where we write tickets for a year and we don't get any response at all, and we shift over to a different method. And the severability clause simply in all of our ordinances that we draft says, if at some point it says this is unconstitutional, it only affects the part that's unconstitutional. The rest of it's that part is severed from the ordinance. The rest of the ordinance continues to enforce that.
Is it a law that says you have to remove the Freon out of HVAC before you can? Yeah, I think so. But you just said there's no.
Well, I mean, usually by the time it gets ready to demolish, there is none of that there.
Well, you don't know
It'll
that
take a
until you
special
try to
permit.
take it out.
Huh?
You don't know that until you try to take it out. If you just release it in the air, that's a violation.
Well, just so everyone knows, the city will not be going out necessarily and doing this themselves. We're partnered up with
Bureau Veritas.
Bureau Veritas. We're gonna make sure that everything is kosher there. Quite frankly, there may be asbestos, there may be, I mean, depending on the age of the home, there's a lot of things that there's ropes, okay? So just because the city sees a property, or we all see properties in our city that are dilapidated or need to be gone, even after this ordinance, doesn't mean we can go out and we can post on the wall tomorrow and say we're gonna tear it down the next day, because there's all these red tapes and ropes that we have to go through and follow all these procedures and stay within inside laws and rules and regulations. And
This ordinance is establishing those
That's right.
procedures.
That's
what we're doing.
Correct. This ordinance finally gives us the ability to start moving forward with some of that.
without getting caught up in a trap.
Right. And with that, I make a motion, we approve the second reading of ordinance 300-12-13-2022.
I second that motion.
Okay, Chris first, Kevin second, all in favor?
Kevin Featherston.
Leon Meyer.
Pam Reed. Robin Meyer.
Chris Burkett.
Motion passes unanimously. Moving on to eight new business. A is consider and or take action to rezone 300 West Rabbit Cove Road. Legal description is A0579 of the Kukendall, Elizabeth Kukendall Estate, tract C3, acres is 4.003. The property ID number is 208973. Currently zoned manufactured housing, or HUD, which is otherwise known as mobile homes. And the owner of Makunda Top is requesting property to be rezoned RV or tiny homes. And in your packet, each one of you received, I guess, the original application for request of hearing, as well as I think there's the second page on that is I might call it a business plan for short. There's 4 items on the second page that have y'all, see if y'all ever had a chance to read over that yet. Other thing we got here too regarding this very same plat, this map right here, this will help line it out. It's everything in blue. Well, part of it's orange, isn't it?
Okay, so the blue is actually our city limits.
Oh, okay. It is orange. So this is all inside city limits, or at least so far.
You got one of the trailers.
You got one. It's completely out.
Oh, that 132. Yeah.
One that's in and out, they're gone.
So I marked out the ones that are no longer there. I put
Okay.
the numbers for the ones that exist as their lot numbers are. I drew in the lift stations, the retaining wall, and I think I added a fence that's been added in on one of the properties. To give you a better idea of how the properties lay out.
I would like to go ahead, if you got all everything, did you have to look at the definitions of a very small dwelling unit built in the style of a site-built home, manufactured home from 100 to 500 square foot, mounted on a wheel trailer chassis for towing purposes, they are treated as a recreational vehicle for the purpose of this ordinance.
So this is currently zoned as manufacturer and they're wanting to rezone it to RV.
Well,
To include our.
yeah, to include RV.
Well, RV automatically includes tiny homes, manufactured homes.
But according to the ordinance, it's different. So I don't know.
Tiny homes aren't in that. We don't have them.
We don't have
We
anything
do?
specifically other than this part that says they're treated as recreational
I
vehicles.
was told.
You can't touch an RV.
And
Are we having discussion on this?
Yes.
Yeah.
I know you got some.
I do, I have many questions
So,
about eight of them.
so basically what we've got right now is they are zone manufactured. They want to switch to RV because that would allow them to have RVs and manufactured homes. Tiny homes is something we have discovered last night, today. I got the ordinance in today. We found it where we do allow tiny homes,
the ordinance.
but the ordinance is not complete.
It needs modification.
It needs
Yeah, it
some
doesn't have
major
enough
modification.
structure in it for, detailed information on it. It just says tiny home.
Yeah, in 2020,
It
we
says tiny homes are treated as RVs in this ordinance. That's-
Yeah.
that's the problem.
Right, so.
Yeah.
That's
Tiny
not the
home.
treatment we want to
It's
give to
sitting on
tiny
blocks.
homes. So what I think we might ought to do, my recommendation is we table what's on the agenda tonight. Let me go back and I'll get with Shannon, we'll draft, I'll fix the ordinance. I'll fix the ordinance, so tiny homes appear the way, we're gonna get some tiny homes the way we are right now. But we need some regulation on how they come install tiny homes.
I agree.
Wait a minute. They already paid money to get voted on today, not after you change the ordinance. We're basing it on what it is
I have
right now,
actually
not
spoke
later.
with them and they are okay with tabling this to a future date.
Then they change the ordinance and we get screwed anyway. I'm just saying.
Did the P and Z not turn it down?
What?
Did the P and Z not turn it down?
Yeah, but we also were told totally different things. She knows that I was told, and they were all told, that tiny homes weren't
Or in
allowed.
our ordinance.
Now that that comes to light, it makes a whole different deal. You want to take it back to the P and Z and let's try again? Because that sounds like what we should do to give them a fair chance.
Well, and for us to do that, we're gonna need to table it tonight for it to go back to P and Z. Because right now.
I'm just saying, if
right
you
now-
table it right now, the way it's written right now, you just have to have a whole different conversation.
So,
And they might have a chance, but if you don't, they don't. And there's at least 5 different places here in the city of West Tawakoni that has exactly what they're asking for. It's not fair, based on the old ruling. I mean, tiny homes were allowed. I think y'all need to make a decision now. You leave yourself open for a lawsuit, is all I'm saying.
If you want to start talking about it, we can start talking about it. It's up to y'all.
Right.
I think everybody at this table has something to speak about it. I think.
I think the Texas legislature had taken the tiny homes, into
Still
their
have discussion.
work.
Yeah, but we still have a discussion and table if it's what we
Yeah.
choose to do.
So I know Robin already has something, so can we go ahead and have the discussion? And if we table it, we table it, but we can, that way they're here, they can know that we're actually talking about this.
Mine are actually comments, they're questions. Chris, you might can address this one. The first one I wrote down was the safety concerns as far as like fire trucks, EMS, police department getting into the park,
So,
because there are a lot of structures there currently.
Here with all the mobile.
So
previously, it was an issue to get through there. The new owners have made a lot of changes. So you can actually get a fire truck through there without a problem now.
Also, the second question I had
Hold on,
is,
Robert, hold on.
I'd like a clarification on the intent. Are we talking full-time residency, or are we talking like a vacation spot? One is taxable and one is not. One is a different usage.
Well, the city council hasn't quite honestly, we haven't heard the intent exactly yet because we're just starting to discuss it.
Read the second page.
I mean, if we want
Well, I mean,
another
and
mobile
that's-
home
that's what
park
we're
that's
doing
made
right
up of RVs, go ahead. Or do we want an area which is gonna be utilized for RVs so that we can have fishing tournaments and such? And we're just gonna have mobile home parks, but instead of a mobile home park, they're going to reside in an RV. For the
Yeah.
sole purpose of what? Not paying taxes?
Well, these are permanent stays. So,
Yes, the permanent stays.
So we're ready
So
to
they
continue.
overt
Yeah.
the tax
Um,
system.
So what, who made the motion on 8A?
Nobody's made the motion. She is still trying to do some discussion here.
All
So
right, you got more?
I've got lots of
Oh,
questions.
okay,
yeah.
good, good.
Okay, my second question is, and I guess I can answer my own question here, was looked like there was only one road into the park with no alternative exit. And there might be an alternative exit, but it's a very small path on the west end of it. So, okay. The next question is, on the map that they gave us, there are blue arrows on there. Are each one of those a site where they want to put these tiny homes, or are these?
Are you talking about, it's like a little line, it has like 200 point whatever on it?
It's these blue arrows along there. There's 13 of them. Is that?
This is
the
where you're
number that
intending on putting
that you're
new-
wanting to put in there?
you're intending on putting new ones where all these are at within your tag.
Yes.
So and each one of those arrows is an actual site, correct? So what my concern is, right here, and right here, there are already mobiles in place, and there's 3 sites behind them. How will you have access to those?
So your road to get in here, but they're looking at putting them all back
I've been out there
there.
quite a bit. They've cut another path back
What's
there.
that?
We're still working on that road back there.
You're gonna turn the road back into there as well?
Path back there.
There is a path back, okay, Mike Stafford just said there is a path up there. Is it large enough for,
It's not large
Big
enough.
vehicles?
It's not large enough.
We're still working on that.
It's not.
No.
We're still working
They're
on
still
it.
working on it.
they are?
Yeah,
Okay.
they created a path
Okay.
temporarily to get back there.
You can comment on the accessibility for.
You can actually get a fire truck all the way through there now.
Right.
Okay.
Even the back path,
And
Chris, even,
Since you're gonna
even that
have,
back path that they just created 6 months ago, 10 months ago, whatever it was.
As of right now, you can go all the way through the park with it.
Right, they added that additional road.
Yes.
Correct, but there's so much backup in there right now, you couldn't get a car in there. Really.
Yeah.
and that leads to my next question is, what about parking? I know that there are, if you put this many units in there, whatever they may be, where are these people gonna park? Will there be ample space in between them to park their vehicles?
be
Because
room
right
for-
now, and I've driven it 3 times this week. Right now, if you go down Rabbit Cove Road, there are actually vehicles that are head-in parking off of Rabbit Cove, that their rear end of their vehicles are out in the street. And that's not of any fault of anybody that lives there. It's just the way the manufactured homes are placed. And I actually had to go into the other lane of traffic in order to go around them once. So that to me is a little bit of a concern. I mean, I know that can be rectified, and that's not your fault. I know
The
that.
new sites
Um,
will have space for one car,
Mhm.
and then down at the end, there will be an area where additional parking.
You can have,
is provided.
okay, you'll have alternative.
So you'll expect a family reunion, one car to park there and the rest. I mean,
No.
Okay.
There'll be room for one vehicle and then,
Okay, and then the next one, my next question is, and Mike, I may direct this to you. Along the edge of the water here, that is a flood, looks like that could be a flood prone
Yes.
area. Now, I know that they want to place these units up on that slope, but it does slope down. When you go to put, water, sewer, or whatever into that area, is there going to be an issue with that?
So
Because
we
of
went out there
flooding.
and made an assessment on every question you've had so far. And where they're gonna put the RVs are above, it's at full pull. So full pull, which we got, what, almost 4 more feet to go.
Mhm.
The RVs would be a few feet from that, so they would actually be on dry ground.
They would.
But they're very close to the water's edge, but they would be on dry ground. They also went
Which
above
is
and
not city
beyond.
limits.
No, they also went above and beyond to upgrade their lift stations to make sure that they were adequate. We had them separate meters from sewers, so they've been working on this for quite some time.
Okay. The next, and this is really kind of a comment, and it's addressed in something that was handed to us about, I think it was it was in 2020, where there was an RV, a mobile home that was moved in on Rabbit Cove Road, and it did not face the street, and there was an ordinance saying that it must face the street. So, some of those units in there are not facing the road, and that's where the parking issue comes in, I think, is because of the way they're placed.
Yeah.
So that was kind of a concern. And then, of course, the last thing I've already spoken about, the vehicles being out in the street, so.
They had a issue with where the ground was 6 foot higher and there was a lower level.
Right.
And we talked to them about building a retaining wall to make sure that never slid. So we've given them a long list of things that they needed to fix. I don't know where we're at currently with that list. I know the water sewer issues were corrected, but we still had some road issues, parking issues. So I would need to go back down there, but she's been down there recently.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I drove through there twice today, just to look at it, because I didn't want to stop and essentially kind of be trespassing on their property.
you're
I didn't want
fine.
them to think that I was doing that.
I can tell you, some of the
yeah, I
trailers
just
that you're
needed-
speaking about is the way that they were facing. That was kind of before our time. They were kind of slipped in there. So,
Exactly,
there
right,
was some of that, which we tried to address that with Mike
Right.
as well.
okay,
And they
And
have done everything we've asked them to do so far.
right,
As the houses come available, before they re-rent them out, we're doing COs
Yes.
on each
Good.
house.
okay.
So they're doing everything that they're being asked to do.
Okay. And I don't want to see anybody displaced out of their home. That is never, would
Well,
be
we
my
actually,
intention.
unfortunately, already had to do that because they
Right,
had some
I know.
RVs in places that they
Yeah.
didn't have.
And I know that there are some people, they need a place to have a home. And I don't want to see anybody have to go without a home. So, that this is kind of a tough decision because of how our ordinances read. So that's just my opinion. Thank you. Thanks, Jim.
Anybody else? Questions, comments, concerns?
So are we good to make a motion to table it and possibly have a workshop to validate? We need to make a motion to do that. I make a motion, we table this pending a workshop and request that we get a workshop set up so we can discuss it all.
I second that motion.
Second, all in favor?
Kevin Featherston.
Leon Myers,
Anne Marie Calden Myers.
Chris Burkett.
Motion passed, but you have now opposed.
Try to get to it
Let me
quick
just
and get
point
it.
out, that if they go to P and Z and give a different recommendation, it comes here with a denial by P and Z, which means whatever we get ready to do, it'll take 4 of you to do it.
Okay.
It'll take a super majority to do it because P and Z did not approve.
All right, that helps.
I like that. So,
May I say something? If you're going to look at your ordinance, the reason that the P and Z said no on this was the way that we read the ordinance and what they had requested. They wanted to have an RV2, which includes RV and manufactured house, where people live full-time in the RV. The current ordinance doesn't say that's allowed. So if you're going to be getting into the ordinance and messing with this ordinance that I didn't know existed on tiny homes, defining them like RVs or whatever, if you want to have a kind of zoning designation where you have RV and manufactured houses where people live in the RVs or tiny homes full-time, create one.
I'd also like to have a special session, a workshop with our planning and zoning, a separate one from this, because there seems to be an issue. If I was able to pull up those ordinances, I would expect our planning and zoning to be able to do the same thing. So I think we need to have a workshop to figure out how to fix that.
I can do that. One foot in that. So we've tabled number 8, moving on to number 8B, consider and or take action to add Mayor Jim Turnipseed, Mayor Pro Tem Pam Reed, City Council Member Kevin Featherston, and City Administrator Annette Lemons as check signers on all city checking accounts.
I went back and looked, and I'm not quite understanding why we have a council member on there versus years in the past. So is there something we're doing different this time?
This was requested by me because I'm leaving in June. And at that point, you would only have 3 check signers, left.
Okay.
So that was the only reason. And the other reason was because of our public works, our water issues and things. So I wanted him to be included, which is Kevin, on this. But it was basically because I would be off of the check signing, so you wouldn't have to go in there and change it again until the next.
We'll still have to change
Until we go to
it.
Commonwealth.
We'll still have to change it again, because we'll have to remove you, but I see where you were going.
But you wouldn't have to remove me if I'm not here to sign checks.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying?
And I don't wanna be on it.
Well, she
No,
can't.
Honestly,
She can't be on it because
Cut
she's
the
gonna be
checks.
making the checks out.
Yeah.
So
So if I
you don't
do the
that.
checks, I don't sign the checks.
I make a motion that we approve the check signers.
There's a second.
Who's second?
I don't know, so I'm asking.
Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, all in favor?
Kevin Featherston.
Leon,
Myers.
Pam Reed, Robin Myers.
Chris Burkett.
motion passed. 8C, action to appoint Kim Kelly as the city secretary.
I'd like to make the motion to appoint Kim Kelly as city secretary, unless there's no
I
discussion.
second that motion.
Okay.
Hold on right here.
Mayor,
Robin first.
Mayor, can you get her to take the oath of office? Can you swear her in?
Yeah, I can do that.
Pam second.
I could.
We need to vote on that real quick.
We need to vote first. We need to vote first.
Robin first, Leon second. I mean, Pam, Leon.
Kevin
We
said.
all, we did
Kevin
this already.
said Pam.
Pam,
All in favor?
Kevin Featherston.
Leon Myers.
Pam Reed, Robin Myers.
Chris Burkett.
2 seconds.
No, no, no.
Soccer.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, just,
Okay, just say right here. Read it. In the name and by the authority of the state of Texas, I, Kim Cowley, do solemnly swear or affirm that I will faithfully execute the duties of the office of city secretary for the state of Texas and will, to the best of my ability, preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution and laws of the United States and of this state, so help me God.
congratulations.
Mayor?
Good job. Another comment. Yeah, plenty of time. I was thinking about your phone. I don't want to do that. That's 68 with it.
And you already do.
I do. All right, we're moving on to number 8D. Consider and or take action on mass notification to all citizens for IRIS, the alerts for the customer and opt in or opt out. I mean, this covers everything from storms to boil notices, rescinding boil notices, traffic issues that may be related to something that water sewer is working on. Could be a number of things. We don't want to inundate the whole thing. We get phone calls every day, but for the big stuff, we'd like for everybody to be a member of that. This is something that we're going to sign up everybody, and will they get it? Will they wait until they get
The way it'll work is we have to get within hand our water system. Everybody that's in our water system, there will be a mass Iris alert sent out to the community, the city. And then there will be option to accept to be part of Iris or decline it, and then you don't get notifications.
When will the first initial, if we get everybody signed up today, how are they gonna know what they're gonna wait till the next episode? Would it be a water leak or weather, whatever, somewhere? It's not gonna cover it right away.
And it's also targeted too, you know, if it's just the south side of town for like a boil water notice, it's gonna be targeted to those people.
Yeah, okay.
But I would like to say like people are signing up online or they're calling Tammy and say, add me to it. My name's Kim. Here's my phone number. If you don't give us your address, we don't know north side, south side. So you're just thrown in with the whole city.
Yeah.
Which every time I do an Iris alert, I send it to the whole city unless they tell me it's only south side of town.
And a lot of customers that are on our water system did not have cell phones back then, and their cell phone is not in the system. So,
Or they change cell phones and then say they didn't get notified.
There's always an opt-in provision that you can opt in.
Yes.
I still get all the notices from city of Commerce. I haven't been the city attorney in 12 years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, you can opt in or opt out, and even now, it
Doesn't bother me.
calls my cell phone, sends me an email.
Yeah.
And a text message.
And a text message, but on the emails and the cell phone, it says, press 1 to verify, press 2 to be removed. So,
Anybody got any other?
but it's a really good benefit.
Yes, it is. How many we got on there now? 200, less than 300 people.
Well,
we did hit 300.
we have gotten over 300. We
Oh,
found,
we have? Oh, okay.
we found some that hadn't been done.
I was one of them, because I got a notice the very next day after we talked about doing this.
And it was great.
It's a great program. It's a great, because not everybody
So
is
she
found.
signed up 2-3 times.
Yeah, not everybody has cell phone, not everybody has internet. I mean, we needed some way to get this out there. Anybody else got any other questions or comments, concerns about the Iris alert?
I do.
Yes, sir.
Why can't we, just put everybody that's on the water department on there, and if they decide they don't want to be on there,
That's
they
what
can
we
call
just
us.
said.
That's what this is.
That's what
So
it's
automatically everybody.
Automatic.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what this is.
Well, why didn't you say that?
I did.
Well, y'all better say it louder.
Turn this.
People in the back row can't hear.
I make a motion to do it.
Okay.
I second
Lee.
that motion.
Yeah, dang.
Now, who made
Get out of the shoot here, girl.
What are we even motion?
Leon
Yeah, I
made
made
the
a
motion, Pam seconded.
All in favor?
Kevin Featherston.
Leon Myers.
Pam Reed, Robin Myers.
Chris Burkett.
Motion passed unanimously. Moving on to number 9, which is citizens input, that's non-related to agenda items. Anybody here got anything want to address this, sir?
Due to lots of things that have been going on as far as public works, I had to create a page. So I just wanted to make everyone aware, I created a Facebook page. So I would ask the council when they can to address that situation, the social media part of it.
You mean a policy?
Yes, because right now, you know, I'm starting to gain followers and I can do a Facebook Live during a very serious situation and notify people real time. So it's proven to be very beneficial so far.
What's
the name of
Not just notification. Yeah,
What, is it just West Tawakoni Public Works so that
Yes.
people know what the
yeah,
name
it's just
of it
a
is?
department. So it's not like for the entire city. It's just for public works. And it's not set up to be able to have, you know, any type of dialogue. It's just a notification process. So if we have major issues going on in the city and we need to notify the entire town, that's one.
Thank you.
Kind of like a backup Iris.
Yeah, it's like a backup Iris. Iris is still the best way.
What do you mean address it? Oh, okay.
So what was the Facebook page? How do you do it all? What is it?
We can't right now, but
It's
it's.
just in public works.
Yes, ma'am.
In the interest of safety in our community, is it possible to have the public works to fill up the ditches when they're done installing pipes?
Oh, yeah, that's, we've actually been talking about that. it's something that's being addressed right now. Matter of fact, it started last week. It started last week with that.
I mean,
Anyway,
we've had those open ditches, what, 3 months
Anything
now
else,
at the end of our street?
big pardon?
Been months and months
Oh,
on the 2 houses at the end of the street.
We're actually, they've instructed me to address that. We had to deal with some contractor issues. As soon as that's wrapped up, it will be corrected. So there's lots of moving parts of where you're discussing.
is there any other citizen input? Anybody else? I'm gonna move on to item number 10.
I make a
Chairman,
motion.
entertain a motion.
We adjourn.
I say,
Kevin first, Tim second, all in favor?
Kevin Featherston.
Leon, there. Chris Burkett.
It is approved.
Collected all kind of bagels, so I just cooked some out today.